So it is Tuesday, December 29th, in the year of our Lord 2020. I don't know if this one is technically the year of our Lord. Feels like it maybe came from somewhere else. Just saying. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that whole debate. But what I am going to do is I'm going to crack open a cold one. And by cold one, talking about a monster. Because I need caffeine. I haven't had any caffeine yet. It's roughly noon. That might have been too much. I'm sorry. Anyway, I haven't had any caffeine yet. It's about noon 40 or a quarter to 1. Because I don't think noon 40 is actually a time that people say, but I do. I just because I can. So I do. I don't really have much to talk about today. Christmas. Christmas was last week. I originally had no plans, as I had mentioned in last week's episode. And then my friend Noelle and her family invited me over, and it was great. I spent the majority of the day with them, and there was a little family drama on their end, but overall, all things considered, it was a really good time, for me at least. They had a brunch thing going on. They even got me a couple gifts. I did not ask for gifts. I wasn't really able to shop for anybody, especially last minute, because I don't know what people like, but even the shopping I did do was all Amazon, just for my sister and my brother-in-law. And, I was stuck at home the whole time, so it's not like I could go out and window shop even. And that's okay. Like they have the lists on Amazon, and that's what I utilized. So, if you're a difficult person to shop for, get on Amazon or any other website, just create a list. Let people have that list. Let them pick for you. It just makes it fucking easy. And they'll ship that shit. So there you go. Even though I had it shipped to me, and then on Christmas Eve, I did deliver it to my sister's house, and we exchanged gifts there. And that was cool. I got a nice whiskey decanter and a couple of glasses and some whiskey stones, which I've never used before. So hopefully use those here soon. I don't drink at home often, but I figure now I have a reason to, as if I didn't have a reason to before. And in the spirit of coordination between Noelle and my sister, Noelle actually messaged my sister and asked her what kind of shit I'm into, apparently. And they worked it out, and I actually got a nice bottle of Johnny Walker from them. So that might be the first thing that goes into the decanter. And maybe it won't be. I don't know. I have a lot of alcohol, and I just never drink at home. But I guess, I'm trying to get rid of stuff that I don't use very often. Trying to really declutter, I guess, is the term. If you haven't used it, or if it doesn't bring you joy, get rid of it. And the alcohol I have at home has literally been sitting, doing very little. Every now and then I'll make a drink, but it's pretty rare. So I guess maybe I should just become a short-term alcoholic or something. That'll probably go badly. So that's not gonna happen. But anyway, yeah, those are the gifts I got, and I like them. The decanter thing came in a really fucking cool box. I like the box. I have nowhere to put the box. But yeah, it's a nice little gift, and I'm grateful for those things. I'm grateful that I got to spend time with Noelle and Chris and their family and the kids. It beats sitting at home, so that was good. And we got good food. Noelle had a chef friend who's been out of work because of the fucking Rona. Had them cater it, and it was pretty tasty. I was happy to take home some leftovers. Plus, I'm always down for leftovers. Can't go wrong, usually. And I made the decision not to bring home any of the sweets. That was the smartest thing I've done in the last couple of weeks, probably. And it was short-lived, because I think I did order Dairy Queen like the next day. So, whatever. I'm not worried about it. That's the way it goes. Speaking of gift registries or wish lists or whatever you want to call them, my Amazon list has the Nescafe Virtuo something or other coffee machine. I'm not a big coffee drinker. I signed up for a coffee program through trade.com earlier this year, and they'd send you, a bag of coffee on whatever schedule you select based on your tastes. I don't really have a lot of tastes for coffee. But the stuff that they did send me, I did like. But I never got into a coffee maker, like a legit coffee maker. So I was like, you know what? If I want something along the lines of a Keurig or the Nescafe, that could be cool. Nobody got it for me, so I'm gonna have to get that for myself, I think, if I really want it. That's the thing. I like coffee, but I don't drink enough to make a full pot. So something like a single serve like that is cool, and the Nescafe's got crazy good reviews. The Keurig stuff has good reviews too, and the thing I like about Keurig is you can use your own coffee. But the Nescafe, I think, just had better reviews. It's more expensive, but maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. That's my story about coffee. And it's also weird. I'm sitting here recording this, and I have my cell phone sitting in front of me, and I'm sure it was purely accidental, but my ex-girlfriend just tried to call me on Snapchat, which is really weird, so I'm sure it was totally accidental. She has my number. We talk every few months because she also does my hair. But, yeah, missed a call from her. I'm not going to lie, I'd be happy if it was a real missed call, but whatever. Life goes on. So being that it is the end of 2020 this week, we only got a couple more days. Today, Wednesday, Thursday night is New Year's Eve. I had thought about reflecting on this year and, taking away the good things, away the bad things, and listing them out, but I don't really want to do that. I have decided that this year probably doesn't require any more attention than it's already garnered, and reflecting on it may make people sad, even more sad than they already are, or angry, and both of those are totally reasonable responses for a lot of the shit that's gone down this year. I will say for me, the biggest disappointment of the year had to be canceling my trip to Japan. I was going to go to Japan for my 40th birthday back in the end of March, beginning of April. I was going to spend about 10 days, or maybe 2 weeks. I hadn't fully planned it out yet, and ended up having to cancel it. Not entirely because of the Rona, but with my back being all fucked up at the beginning of the year, and no sight picture for when I would be recovered. It just didn't seem like it was going to be in time to go to Japan. And turns out it wasn't, but then the Rona hit, so it would have got canceled anyway. Also having to cancel our plans to go to the horror film festivals in New Orleans and Telluride. That sucked, not being able to physically go there. And I already talked about that shit in the first episode, but it would have been nice to actually go. It was cool to be in my buddy's basement while we watched movies, but it's just better to go in person. It's more fun, more involved, more engaging. So that sucked too. I was also supposed to go to Montreal for the first time. I was going to go see Bloodbath. They were doing a short U.S. tour, and I've always wanted to see them, and never have. And even though it's not my ideal Bloodbath lineup, I'd still like to go because I'm a huge fan. And was going to go to Montreal because I was supposed to be in New Orleans for the Denver date. So that got canceled. So that was a bummer too. But all in all, if those are the worst things that happened to me this year, not counting my beginning of the year stint in the hospital and all that, I'll still call it a win overall. Still relatively healthy, all things considered. And that's cool. I'm okay with that. I am happy, however, this year is about to be fucking over. So, as you probably have figured out, I don't really have any agenda of what to talk about in this episode. It's going to be a short episode because of that. If nothing else, I will say that, and I mentioned this before, that as much of a shit show as 2020 has been for a great many people, for some people it's actually worked out really well. And I'm not talking about the stupid rich billionaires who increase their billions because now everybody's shopping online or whatever. We're not thinking about them fuckers. I'm thinking about my friends. I have friends that have, they're going to school. They took good jobs in the tech industry, working with NASA, that type of shit. And, even though they're still struggling, because the struggle is real, they're doing really well this year. And people who've overcome a lot of depression and other various aspects of their struggle this year, I think they should be extraordinarily proud of the stuff they've done. not going to use any names or anything, but if they listen, they'll hear it maybe. And, you know, I'm proud of you if you're listening. If you're not listening, then just, you know, maybe somebody will tell you I'm proud of you if they figure it out. Ooh, a puzzle. All I really know is that if 2021 is even remotely better than 2020 for most people, they should take it. Even if it's just a small percentage of better than 2020 has been. I hope they can acknowledge that. And hopefully, fingers fucking crossed, it's not any worse. Can it get worse? Yeah, probably. Will it? The odds are decent that it will get worse because things get worse before they get better. But at the same time, 2020 set the bar so low, maybe we're at the bottom. And I'm usually a optimistic realist, and I'm hoping that 2021 will be the year that isn't, you know, it doesn't have to be extraordinary glamorous for people or amazing or anything, just better than this fucking year. That's all I ask. I'm not much for prayer, putting out into the universe, or I am for that really, but you can call it prayer if you like. But that's my wish. That's my prayer, if you will, for everybody, is that 2021 is better than 2020. If you had a good 2020 and 2021's better, awesome. If you had a bad 2020 and 2021 is mediocre, that's cool. Improvement is improvement. And I like improvement. And any improvement is better than no improvement, in my opinion. So take what you can get. So you've been listening to me ramble on for quite some time about this, that, and the other. So allow me to ramble on briefly about how I operate this podcast. There's lots of options for how you want to post and host your podcast and put it out into the world. I did a lot of research on mine, and for me, I decided to go with Anchor.fm. If you haven't heard of Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's free. That was a big selling point to me. Free is good. I like free. There's also tools for creation to help you record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer or your tablet or whatever you're using. I find that to be effective. So we got free, we got recording and editing, both big deals, because they are. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you. So it can be heard on Spotify, it could be heard on Apple Podcasts, it could be heard on Google Podcasts, and many, many more. That is a huge time saver because I don't have to go to each of those things to upload. So I like that distribution right then and there. And again, it's free. You can make money from your podcast if you're into that kind of thing with no minimum listenership. That could be cool. I think you should try it. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So if you've been on the fence about making a podcast and the only thing holding you back is how you want to host it or create it or whatever, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's worth it. So the big news recently is, well, two-part. First, there's the fucking Nashville bombing. Downtown Nashville, the RV exploded. I haven't done much reading about it. They think that the guy responsible, his remains were in the RV. They had a creepy loudspeaker message. Some of my voiceover colleagues are pretty sure it was done with, AI, voice or text-to-voice, text-to-speech software, whatever. I listened to it. It was very eerie. It was very much like a movie. And then it exploded. I don't know anything about fatalities or injuries or any of that. I have not done any reading. I've only seen some headlines, and I watched the video with the audio coming from that thing. It's fucking terrible, regardless. I've never been one to follow true crime just because of the heinousness of whatever the act may have been. I get into it more for trying to discern what the motive behind it was. Like Columbine. Oh yeah, we were bullied. We're going to take it out on our specific targets, which nobody that was killed was on their target list. But, you get the those types of things, the vengeance killings, not too mysterious. It's the ones that you don't find out about. And this applies to all crime. Like robberies and stuff are kind of self-explanatory, but the killings and especially the terrorist-like acts or terrorist acts, bombings like this one, what their actual motive was. Again, I haven't read up on it yet, so I don't know. Maybe they found it, whatever. But it always just blows my mind. And even with things like suicides, when people kill themselves but leave no note, no indication of what's going on. Like the happy people who kill themselves. Anthony Bourdain, Robin Williams, hanged themselves. No note that I'm aware of. No nothing other than their obvious depression that they were covering up or, trying to hide or whatever, that sometimes they had been open with, Bourdain specifically. Not everybody talks about their struggle, but it'd be nice to know, for me at least, just maybe I'm nosy, it'd be nice to know what they were thinking when they did it. Like, hey guys, this is my reason for doing whatever I'm about to do. I don't know. That's just a weird thing I thought about this morning when I woke up, which is a weird thing to think about right when you wake up, but I did. The other new news is the COVID vaccine. There's a lot of information about the vaccine, a lot of misinformation about the vaccine. And just like the rest of this whole fucking debacle known as the COVID-19, I'm very unsure of how it's going to play out and what my participation role will end up being. Do I want to get the vaccine? Yes and no. And I think anybody who is a solid yes without any hesitation, I think they should rethink that. But at the same time, anybody who is anti the vaccination without any, oh, hey, maybe it's not that bad kind of thoughts, should also revisit that. And I think, and that's how I feel about a lot of things. You should never be 100% sure of absolutely anything for the most part. Question everything. Will I get the vaccination if it comes available to me? Probably. I actually got the pneumococcus vaccination a couple times, like about 12 years ago. Went to the doctor and they asked if I wanted it. I didn't even know that was a fucking thing. And I said, sure. So I got it. I don't know if I've had any side effects. I don't know. I've had it twice because I think it was an every 5-year type of booster situation, like a tetanus shot or whatever. But I didn't know we had a vaccination for that, or an inoculation, whatever nomenclature you decide to use. But I do wonder if getting the vaccination will help with getting everything back to quote unquote normal. Will I get it? Will other people get it? It makes me wonder that if they said right now, if you are in the entertainment industry or if you are in the restaurant industry, and in order to go back to full normal, you need to get vaccinated, how many people would do it to save that aspect of their lives? I think there's a lot of people that would. I think there's a lot of people that won't. And I understand both sides. Some people think this is all about control, and it might be. And some people don't think that. Some people, it's, the vaccine is poison. I mean, what else are you poisoning yourself with? This is just kind of I haven't read about anybody having crazy severe problems. I saw something about people have died from it, but I have not read about it, so I can't really speak on it. But the percentage of those deaths compared to the people who have actually received the damn thing seems to be small. So I'm going to put that question out to you right now. If you're in a band, or you're a filmmaker, or you run a venue or a bar or a restaurant, you work inside any of those places, and the one stipulation that would allow you to go back to doing that full time with normal operations, where if you're a band, maybe you can go on tour or play shows with no capacity limits, or even if it's just, 75% capacity limits, but you have to have the vaccination. and a proof that you have been vaccinated, would you do it? Let me know if you've listened this far. Let me know if that applies to you and what your decision would be. And this does not count people who, work in healthcare or any of that stuff. Just strictly the entertainment industry, local bands, bigger bands. If getting back to normal for that aspect of life for you required proof of vaccination, would you do it? And if so, what are your thoughts on the whole thing anyway? Would you do it if not required? If you're not in that industry, are you going to get it? Let me know. This is purely out of curiosity. I'm not trying to hold a debate about the damn thing. I just want to know what people are thinking. Find me on Twitter at Death Disco Pod, Facebook, the Death Metal Disco Podcast. You can message me through anchor.fm, which I think Spotify has a link to. Hit me up on Facebook on my personal page, whatever, if you want to. Let me know what you think. That's my question to you. If it's a requirement for you to get back to normal life where you can go to shows, even if you're not in a band, but if you just like going to shows, and being able to gain entry into a show requires a ticket and proof of vaccination, will you do it? I think that's an interesting point of discussion. So hit me up. Let me know. This episode's short. I apologize for that. I just really don't have anything planned. I hope for everybody listening and for everybody not listening that New Year, the New Year, is everything you want it to be. And I don't say that sarcastically like I usually do. Oh, it's everything I wanted it to be. No, I really hope that if you want it to be even marginally better than 2020, that it is. If you want it to be fantastic, I hope that it is. And, I'm waiting till about January 5th before I make a determination how it's going to go for me, because January 5th of this year was my first trip to the urgent care for my back. So if I make it to the 5th of this year without any adverse medical problems, I'm calling it at least a good start. And then I'll go from there. But, yeah. I hope you guys all had a good Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you do. If nothing, a good Thursday, Friday, long weekend. Probably not going to put out another episode before New Year's Eve because it's only a couple nights away. So, Auld Lang Syne or whatever the fuck that song is. And Happy New Year. And be safe. I love you all.